super stoked to have this goddess yogi babe on here today, Ashton August, for our Be the Shift interview number 7. And Ashton's rocking it. She is really rocking the spiritual entrepreneur life, and is someone who I've looked up to as someone who really gets things done and does it in a way with diligence and a level of professionalism in everything that she does, and always making me reach the next level. I feel like. So to tell you a little bit about Ashton August is the founder and content director of yogiapprove.com. So go check it out, a leading yoga and wellness digital magazine. She's also the founder of Yogi Approved Classes, an online yoga and fitness membership platform that plants a food-producing tree for farming communities in West Africa for every class a member completes. And I think you're up to like 208 or 200,000 plus trees so far. So it's really amazing. And Ashton's a female entrepreneur on a mission to inspire, empower, educate, and cultivate community both locally and globally through her work as a motivational speaker and author, distinguished yoga teacher, and business owner. When she's not creating amazing content for Yogi Approved, you can find her immersed in a great book, hiking with her 2 rescue dogs, so cute, in her home base of Tucson, Arizona, or van lifing around the country with her husband and their pups. So we're just so thrilled to have you, Ashton. Thanks for just continuing to be on this journey with me as we rise and share these messages to the world. And yeah, I would love to know what Be the Shift means to you in your world.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, first and foremost, Chelsea, for having me today. It's always so good to see your beautiful face. And I'm always honored to be involved in whatever you've got cooking up, girlfriend, because you as well are such a badass female entrepreneur doing all the things. And it's been a really big honor to just watch you blossom over these past few years. So really good to be here and really excited for your Be the Shift podcast. Super cool. And thank you for having me and for that amazing introduction. I had to just get all of that out before I could even answer your first question. So Be the Shift, I have been watching you create this magic, and every time I see you, we get to catch up about it. And I also had the honor of being involved in one of your Be the Shift events. I want to say recently, but all of a sudden that was not so recent. Time has continued to fly. But anyway, being informed of Be the Shift through all these different lenses, I really love this community that you've created, first and foremost. Having a conscious community of like-minded spiritual entrepreneurs is not just so important, but it's also so nourishing. And it's really, really cool to be a part of and to see. So what it means to me, and I don't know if this is intentional or not on your part, but Be the Shift always reminds me of the Gandhi quote, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." And for people like us who have been on this, not just entrepreneurial path and not just spiritual path, but a path of combining the two, it really is the path that we're walking of creating this shift in the way that people show up for themselves, in their lives, and in their business and how they do business. So it's really cool for me to see the dynamic that you've cultivated to support and uplift all of these aspects. So if that answers your question, that's what Be the Shift means to me. And that's what I've witnessed being involved and from the outside looking in. Very cool, babe. Very cool.
Thank you. And I was just looking at your Yogi Approved, and I saw one of your classes that's featured right now as a You Are Worthy class. And I know that's such a big part of being a leader in your own career and entrepreneurship and all that it takes, like the day in and day out, to create beautiful content. It's not just, and now running a yoga studio, it's like, I do some yoga, but a lot of it's a lot behind the scenes or working with teachers or doing things, and just like how much it takes for you to embody being your message and being that change you wish to see throughout your creations. And this kind of goes into the next question of how is health and entrepreneurship really interrelated with each other, and how has that been such a core part of your message and your whole being to carry such a creative baby such as Yogi Approved?
just a baby.
Yeah. Well, it's now turning into a toddler and teenager and now off planting trees and as an app and everything. And like, I mean, so I know how much work you put into it and love you pour into it. And like, how is it that you're able to stay grounded and stay connected to that with being such a, you are a very big influencer. You have a lot of demands of your time and energy. So how has that actually been for you? I would love some just realness about how to navigate that.
Oh yeah, 100. I think that's such an important question. And frankly, what I missed early on in starting Yogi Approved was having a mentor. And if I would have had one, I feel like they would have said to me, boundaries, take care of yourself first and foremost, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to show up for everyone else. And I didn't have that. So I learned that by not doing that for myself for years, which is the true path to burnout. I have a lot to say to get back to where I just left. To start, I think it's funny that you likened Yogi Approved to a toddler or now a teenager, because I've always said that from the start. And I had a reading done early on in the company for myself of, how can I best serve? How can I best show up? And what this woman told me was Yogi Approved is not just your baby as you feel it is. It is its own being now that you've birthed into the world, and it even has its own chakra system. And so you have to think about even down to like which chakras the company is having weaknesses or imbalances with. And it was fascinating to think of it through that lens, and then to be able to show up for it for myself and for my community through that perspective. But getting back to your initial question of health and how that plays in with my entrepreneurship, this sounds like it's going to be a really long-winded response, but I promise I'll keep it moving. It all started in my childhood, Chelsea.
We love to hear it. Please, we want to hear you. And
I know, right?
I just wanted to acknowledge what you said before, because I totally have goosebumps. I felt that chakra system like really deep in my bones. I really appreciate you just like bringing that up. So yeah, continue.
Yeah,
back to your childhood.
But yes, when I was a child, I was really unhealthy. I was sick often, and my mom had been sick often as a child. So we both kind of just accepted it as like, well, this is just the way things are. And as a result, I spent a lot of my childhood sick. I spent a lot of my childhood out of school. And as I got older, my sicknesses, decreased, but my migraines increased, my anxiety increased. And looking back on myself now during those times, I realized that I was living with a very high functioning anxiety. And this was the root cause of my sicknesses. And so as I, found myself in high school, like so stressed out and so anxious and outwardly getting the 4.0 GPA and getting college credits and like do, go. But internally, I was just like I have no sense of grounding. And so it was a huge blessing to me because it was unsustainable and it forced me to explore solutions. And I found my solution through yoga first and foremost. So through yoga, that physical practice helped me really be able to slow down, help really reduce my migraines. But even before yoga, I was really deep into my spirituality. And my spirituality was kind of like that companion I had to help with my daily anxiety. And so I knew I wanted to take these two aspects of what I found in my own spirituality and what I found through my yoga practice and find a capsule of being able to share this with other people. And so that is how my health initially came into play with entrepreneurship, was realizing this is so key to me because I spent so much of my life missing out, catching up, suffering from. And I know so many people can relate. And so I really, really sought out first and foremost to create a platform that housed resources for people to find their own paths of spirituality, to find their own, journey of yoga, mindfulness, whatever it may be, to help cope with all of these things that we all deal with, right, in one form or another. But health is wealth. We hear that all the time. And without our health, what do we honestly have? And Chelsea, I know that you are a huge advocate for health. And thank you. Chelsea has been a huge, support system to me in my health journey. I love Purium. And it's like, it's so important to me to find resources that nourish me, mind, body, soul, spirit, emotional, all the things. Jumping back to what we then started discussing too, with like what I learned once I was an entrepreneur, once I was running my own business, and once things got really busy to the point where I wasn't, able to, at that time in my mind, able to take time for self-care, take time to fill up my own cup. And that's another thing that ultimately was a blessing, because I needed to go through it in order to learn from it. But wow, the path to burnout is real. And the crash from burnout is no joke. And I'm not embarrassed, because it is what it is. And I'm going to be real for all of you so that you can learn from my mistakes. But it took me up until literally last summer. So 5 solid years in to Yogi Approved, to be like, hit rock bottom, super, super just done, toast, mentally, physically, the whole thing, to realize something has got to give, something has to change. And that's when I began taking weekends off, when I began allowing myself to have a really nourishing morning routine. When I started literally scheduling in my yoga practices, my workouts, my hikes, as I would a meeting or a podcast, so that I would actually hold myself accountable to getting it done. Because why was it so easy for me to say yes, yes, yes to you, and you, but never to myself?